Everybody, we welcome you to another interview with another great San Diego player, Jaiden Brown. He is from Helix. He is committed to play football at San Diego State. The Aztecs actually just announced that their season is back on, so I'm sure that you're all sorts of levels of excited about seeing that come back right now. Congratulations on the commitment, man. I think it's fitting. I don't know. I'm assuming you did not plan this out, but it says Helix #1 up there in the upper corner of the what we can see behind you up on your wall. So perfect. Great. The Helix kids know they're #1, and that's the kind of mentality. My man, thank you for joining us. Let's start with that commitment, though. San Diego State, how'd that feel? What was that decision? Why did you choose to stay here?
Um, well, it just felt right. With everything going on. Obviously the whole recruiting process was a little bit different. Didn't get to visit any schools or anything like that, but yeah, the San Diego State coaches, they made me feel super comfortable, and I got to see the campus, being that we're living in San Diego, and it just seemed like a good fit. And the time that I committed felt like it was a good time to get locked in with the program, and I'm super excited about my decision. And going to San Diego State, I get to have my whole city behind me. All my friends, family get to attend games. When they open up the new stadium in 2022. So that's something that I'm definitely excited about.
So we've talked with a couple of kids here and there that have had different kind of opportunities like you about, you get to go play in newer, nicer facilities. Did thinking about getting to open up that brand new stadium play a small part in you deciding to go there?
Yeah, yeah, of course. They use that in the recruiting as a big buying point, and I think it was super cool, for my family to know that they're doing that, and they would all be able to come watch me play in a new stadium. So yeah, that's definitely something that was important to me when going through recruiting and all that.
I can think of at least two Helix Highlanders, and I apologize if there are more that are currently on that San Diego State football team. But I can think of at least a pair from the last couple of years that are there right now. It seems to me like over the last maybe like 5 years, though, the number of San Diego kids recruited on that team has gone up. I see Carlsbad, Steel Canyon, the Helix. The numbers are growing from every Eastlake is there, Olympian is there. Like there's all parts of San Diego seeming to be there. Was that part of the pitch that they gave you? Was stay home? Like give us a little bit of insider on what that is like if they're really trying to capture the San Diego talent and keep you guys here.
Yeah, yeah, and they made that was a big point in their recruiting also. They want to keep the best talent that's in San Diego, and they think that they have a program now that has kind of established itself a little bit to where the top talent in San Diego um, does decide to stay, and they're not always leaving to a LA school or something like that. They can actually come and compete in their home city and still compete at a high level. So, and I think with San Diego State and their success recently, I think that also makes the kids in San Diego want to go play for a good team, and play. Me coming into my freshman year there, I'll be playing with numerous people that I've known growing out through high school. So that's definitely a big piece in recruiting and going there, and definitely a positive.
What is it like for you in terms of just kind of how you put it into the equation of your head? Because you have to be rivals with those people at some point where you're like, oh, that kid from Carlsbad, or oh, that kid from so and so, like whatever the school is, you're like, I got to line up against that guy, or either that guy trucked one of my friends, or he played dirty, or like what, like you butt heads in football. You don't always get to just be like, oh, I love and respect that tight end over there, even though he's bashing my brains in. Like,
Uh,
but then you got to go be teammates with these people and be friends with these people. So is it one of those things where you're kind of like, ooh, the fact that that kid was kind of a nuisance in high school makes me want to play with him? Like, how do you rationalize all that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that's me personally. Like I always respect other good players, and when you go against a player and okay, well this dude has been good. I've guarded him before through high school, and he's going to San Diego State. It makes it kind of comforting to be able to know that you're playing with other good players, and a lot of people think that it's a good thing to play with talent that's high caliber. I think that's obviously going to make you better playing against people that that are going to compete for
So
sure.
let's talk about the high caliber experience. Anytime we have Helix athletes in general, and because the athletic culture there is pretty elite, but the football players especially, it's been a 20-year thing now where Helix football has been considered in that upper tier in San Diego. What is it like being inside that world? What is it like being a member of the Helix football team?
It's pretty good. It feels it's great. You know, it's a good responsibility. It's a big responsibility. But you know, coming into every year, we're always gonna have a target on our back, and since my sophomore year, that's something that our coaches have always preached. And we just kind of always have to keep a winning standard. And in the locker room, you can feel it. We're always keeping that high standard in there, and playing for a team that is expected to go to the championship. It's a big role, and this year we're going to have a lot of young guys, and those young guys are going to have to buy into the traditions of the program. And I think that I think our coaches do a good job of getting everybody gelled in to understand that now you're playing for something that's bigger than yourself. And we have a lot of alumni and previous players at Helix, so every year we have to come back stronger and hope that we could get to a championship and put on for the people that play before us.
We were talking actually earlier today on our latest podcast about players that we're looking forward to this season, and I mentioned your entire offensive line. Are you scared of any of them? Are there any dudes on that offensive line where you're like, if I saw him coming downfield on a screen, I don't know if I would. I might give up the touchdown.
Yeah, we definitely have some dogs, and seeing them at practice every day competing is something that's great for me. And just to know that we have high caliber guys up there, and that the quarterback is going to have some time back there, and we have all across our line. We all know that Sean Martinez, I believe, is one of the best two-way linemen in San Diego, for sure. And I think I can see that just from the practice standpoint, seeing what he does out there. But our whole line, across the board is very talented, and they all make each other better for sure.
Okay, that's a really good politically correct answer, but you're kind of dodging my question. If Sean Martinez was loose in the secondary and it was between you and him to stop that touchdown, are you willing to go straight at that human being to try and make that tackle and get the ball carrier?
I'm gonna do what I can to avoid him. But I gotta do what I do. I gotta do what I have.
Look! It is no shame. There are just like there's one dude every couple of years that comes through San Diego where you're just like, nope, that's a bigger, scarier human being than anything else. And it's good though that he's on your side, so that this is just a hypothetical. You don't have to actually have it end up happening.
For sure, but I don't know how to deal with that.
Seriously, do you mind if I switch it to a little bit more serious of a topic for a few minutes?
Yep.
You were somebody who was very vocal on our social media when we were posting kind of off and on about various causes, Black Lives Matter, just social justice. When sports got shut down, I think America had a lot more time to pay attention to some other stuff and some uncomfortable stuff. But you and I spoke in DMs a little bit. You posted very eloquently on some social media about how really there's no specific angle or rant other than just education and wanting to take positive steps forward. So I'm not going to assume that anything has actually really happened, but you've got the platform now, and we can, this isn't a comment section. This is a chance for people to actually hear maybe some of what you would like to reflect upon the experience has been like for a teenager over the last couple of months to absorb all of this. And I mean, did you go out to any of the protests and any of the marches? Like, for someone in high school, what has this experience grown you up in? How has it been? I mean, I know that's a hugely loaded question, but if you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit on it, I would be honored to hear.
Yeah. It's definitely a topic that's important to me and in my household, because obviously, and I think the most important part, like you said, is education. And a lot of people aren't educated on the issues that go on all the time. And social media now kind of puts a lot of these issues out there, and a lot of these issues have been going on for a very long time. And talking to my parents and talking to my dad and my mom and people who grew up before me and what they went through, it definitely gives me that kind of eye opener to what's out there and everything. And me, I kind of want to inform other people on things like that also, because at school, they're gonna teach you certain things in school, but they're not gonna teach you all the things. So that's, I think, one of the most important things is education in that aspect.
I mean, is it relieving to have the conversation finally and finally be like, people who weren't even really cognizant of what's going on, you're able to engage with them? Or is it something where you see this all going on, but you're just like, ultimately this is just adding more stress to my life because now I got to deal with trolls who scream all lives matter at me or something like that? I mean, because I'm trying to figure this out, because I'm definitely not in your shoes in any way, shape, or form, but especially I'm just not young like you. High school was a different experience for me than it is for you. So what has this been like, just in terms of are you happy that these conversations are happening, or has this ultimately just brought on more stress to even try and educate people?
I think I'm glad that these conversations are happening, because when things in this topic kind of happen, a lot of times it's swept under the rug, and we don't really talk about it enough, and a lot of people don't really know a lot about these things. So when it's getting news time and when people are actually able to see the things that people are going through and stuff like that, I think that's very important, because there's a whole lot of people that don't see the other side. And I think that being that it's being talked about, I think it gives people all kind of an opportunity to try to hear the other side and go through comments and kind of see both sides and see what other people may think on the issue. And I think that's important. I think if everybody just only listens to themselves or listens to their parents, then we're not really going to go anywhere. But when everybody merges and combines thoughts, then I think that's kind of how we go forward with progress.
Well, and I thought it was interesting that a lot of the people that were dismissive maybe of some of the questions that I was posting to social media, and I think it's amazing to see how everybody takes their angle at it versus just seeing it as, oh, that's just 5 words and a question mark. But a lot of people say, well, what are these high school athletes really going to do? It's not like they can, boycott. They don't have TV deals. They don't have anything like that. And I was sort of feeling like it's the opposite. What can these high school kids do? They can grow up to be the generation that actually makes, palpable, tangible change. So I would say to you, or I maybe would ask you, you don't, is there a way for high school kids right now to feel a little more empowered? What are you thinking that a high school athlete can do? And maybe there isn't even really a right question to this, and I'll stop with the serious questions after this one. But will you wear something? Will you, take a knee for an anthem? Will you just try to engage kids? How can a high school athlete make some sort of step in the right direction to help make this world a little bit better place?
Yeah, of course. I think high school athletes, they think that they don't have a voice, but they do. The things that they do on Friday nights and the things that they portray on social media, those things rub off on other people. So, for example, during the season time, whatever people decide to do with, wardrobe, whatever, to shine light on issues, I think all of those things are good steps, because a lot of people don't know about issues, and maybe you put a name of a victim on your cleat or something like that, and somebody goes, or they see that name and they go home and they look that case up and they go and start to research things about that, and they tell other people things like that, and they try to educate other people. I think that's kind of the main thing that high school athletes can do, is educate others. And obviously 17, 18 is the time to vote, and these are crucial years. So I think that also plays a big part into everything too.
Will you be old enough to vote in this presidential election?
I won't. I'm still 17. I'm kind of young, but my brother is going to be voting, so this is going to be his first year voting, and that's something that's important as an American, obviously.
Yeah, this ages me a little bit, but my first presidential election, I turned 18 just barely enough in time to be able to vote in the 2008, the first Barack Obama election. And looking back, I thought that was a big one. But I realize now that no, my high school experience was nothing compared to what you guys probably perceive the world as being. Let's switch it back over. We'll end on a funny note. I always like to ask guys if they got any pregame rituals or routines. And everyone says, no, the first time through. And then we get to the fact they got something funny or dumb or whatever it is that they do every game day. How about you?
I don't have anything specific.
No,
but,
come on. There's got to be something.
we always, we're always listening to music in there. We're always having a good time. Anybody at Helix can tell you that, the locker room experience is something that's different. And the bagpipe, that whole experience is different. And,
Yeah,
and
that's
me
nuts.
personally, yeah. And me personally, I'm not, I usually always do something with how I dress. I spend time spatting in the locker room. So I usually always do something different with that before every game. So I think, that's
But there's no
major
pregame. You always got to
difference.
have a burrito, or you got to have this one certain something. Nothing like that.
Nah, other than music, of course, me, I'm a big music person.
Okay, well
That's
then let us in on some of the tunes, man. Give us like a top 5 of your pregame slaps. That I don't even know if slaps probably aren't even a term for songs anymore. But give us some of your top 5 pregame slaps from last season.
well, definitely, in the locker room, we played, NBA YoungBoy, Roddy Ricch, we played, a lot of rap, a lot of different people, but yeah, there's no specifics, but we definitely have to have some tunes going in there. You definitely have to feel something, when you walk around the corner, or when we see the line, lined up, to get into the games. We're definitely always playing some types of tunes. But yeah, that's mandatory. And the bagpipes, everybody's sitting there waiting for that. That's something that's big too.
Can we get you to? You say you're a big music person. Can we get you to be one of our music correspondents this year? Can you, if we give you control of our Spotify, can you give us a playlist every Friday?
Yes, I can. It's definitely something that should come to me for.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to that. We got a couple weeks to still figure out technologically how to get this all done. But yes, we will have you do our Spotify takeover for Football Friday nights this season. His name is Jaiden. You're gonna want to you gotta watch this kid play. He is speedy and he is dynamic, and he's gonna be here in San Diego for hopefully only 3 more years, and then he goes on to the NFL and gets a big old contract there. Maybe 4 years if he sticks around for all of college. We thank you so much for being on with us, my man. We will see you around this football season. Hopefully, we're like 60-something days out, so fingers crossed that we'll get to see you soon enough, and our next interview doesn't have to be over Zoom. We really appreciate it, folks. Keep on supporting these kids. Keep on sending out positive vibes. Everyone stay safe, stay distant, and we will talk to you guys soon.